Welcome to the IHSA TV network. 2 more games in boys basketball season left to be played. The 3A champion and 4A champion will be crowned over the next 4 hours or so. Simeon and Metamora warming up on the court right now. I'm Darius Joshua. He is the coach, Mark Lindo. Thank you for joining us on this championship Saturday. We saw some great games to start our day here on this Saturday, and we should see another really good one here coming up next in 3A between Metamora and Simeon. 2 teams that met last year in the semis, and they get to play again.
Yeah, Metamora won that game in surprising fashion to many across the state of Illinois, 50-47. Robert Smith, he's coaching his last game tonight. Denny Greaves going for a championship for Metamora. Simeon shot lights out yesterday. We'll see if they can continue that. Metamora had a big comeback against East St. Louis. They'll try to have them catapult that to a title here tonight.
Yeah, record-setting 77% for Simeon in that semifinal game last year. Metamora, of course, played in this game a year ago as well. We will send it out to State Farm Center, where Dave Bernhardt and Cameron Smith will take you through all the plays on the court. We'll see you at halftime.
Thank you very much, Darius and Mark. We are more than thrilled to be here, I can tell you that, here for an evening session of championship basketball. Dave Bernhardt, Cam Smith, and Cam, I don't know about you, but I'm having palpitations here. This is a big one right here. And Ethan Kaiser, he's a cool customer, and he showed it yesterday.
Yeah, no fear with Hair Jordan. That's his nickname for this Metamora program. And he's really the face of this program because he is that dynamic with his skill set. 16 points in that 3A semifinal win against East St. Louis. And this young man, again, you saw the show and go. You see him defensively. He has that type of athleticism to compete with you at the rim, and then he can stretch his game out to 3, averaging 13 points and 5.5 rebounds, which he leads the team on this season for the Redbirds. Now, on the other side for the Simeon Wolverines, the point guard, or should I say the point god, Jalen Griffin. 12 points, 12 assists, and those 12 assists were a 3A state record. He is wise beyond his years with that basketball in his hands and needs to step up his game, especially shooting the basketball. He was 2 for 3 from 3 last night. This young man is poised for a nice game. We have a great matchup, Dave. My palms are sweaty, man. Let's get this thing going.
You bet. A couple of teams that are top ranked. Yes, they tied in the final AP rankings. They'll meet for the Class 3A state title, and they'll be playing for that coming up next. Fans settling in, I can tell you right now, there is a lot of red in this building. Yeah, there may be some Bennett Academy fans. They'll be drifting in. But here it is today for 3A. Metamora wearing the red as these two teams meet at half court. As we mentioned a couple of times, they met last year in the semifinals. Metamora winning that ball game, advancing to the state championship game. And yet, here they both land today. Simeon 31-3 on the season. Metamora 33-2. Each team had to work hard to get here to this very spot. Now, if this doesn't get you going, I don't know what will.
Here's Mason, right between 2 defenders to the rim. Kaiser for 3. Yes! Kaiser, 3 seconds. He'll stop, leans in from 14 at the buzzer, and he got it. Mason right down Broadway with the left hand. Beautiful nice look. Pass. Top to finish. Ethan Kaiser puts Metamora in front. Swanson left alone for 3. Mason to the baseline. The reverse. As the Metamora magic continues, the Redbirds roar their way to the state championship game for the 2nd straight year.
And now the starting lineup for the visiting Metamora Redbirds. A 6'1" junior guard, number 10, Tyler Mason. A 6'8" junior guard, number 14, Luke Hop. A 6'6" senior guard, number 21, Ethan Kaiser. Kaiser. A 6'2" senior guard, number 22, Tyson Swanson. And a 6'3" senior guard, number 24, Drew Tucker. The head coach of the Metamora Redbirds is Danny Greaves.
Now he steps into help. Nice dish and a dunk. Miles Rubin the flush.
Well, that's what happens when you have a nice point guard.
High side, kick out. McKinney again, top of the key. Nice dunk inside. He gets the dish.
On cue. Oh, what a move.
Trying to go around Kentucky, and he did.
Well, it's okay to have little Ruben on a Friday during Lent, right? This young man is putting on quite a show.
A Wolverine squad on a mission. The Simeon Wolverines are moving on, and Robert Smith will head to the state championship game, eyeing his 7th state championship trophy.
And now the starting lineup for the Simeon Wolverines. A 5'10" senior guard, number 2, Jalen Griffith. A 6' senior guard, number 3, Michael Ratliff. A 6'8" senior forward, number 10, Wesley Rubin. A 6'6" senior guard, number 11, Sam Lewis. And a 6'9" senior forward, number 24, Miles Rubin. The head coach of the Simeon Wolverines is Robert Smith.
Those were today's starting lineups presented by OSF Healthcare. OSF Healthcare has many care options for you. Visit osfhealthcare.org to learn more. Let's meet the third member of our announcing team. That's Casey Standahar.
Dave, could this be Simeon head coach Robert Smith's 7th and final state title? He said it would be a fairy tale, but he's not one to get in that dreamland state or get too overly excited. Smith and the Wolverines are locked in ahead of today's matchup against Mora for the Redbirds. Head coach Danny Greaves said he respects Smith, but those 6 state titles don't bother him at all. We don't even think of it, he said. Our team is full of confidence. We drilled down to get here, and we fully expect to win.
Thank you very much, Casey. We are set to go. Metamora got by East St. Louis 50-43. Big second half for the Redbirds. And it was Simeon. Winners yesterday over St. Ignatius easily. And it will be Metamora with it first, dressed in black.
Dave, you can feel the energy inside of State Farm Center. It's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams come out, because in these early moments, it's kind of like a feel-out round. I know these teams have placed each other and have kind of been checking for each other throughout the season, knowing that they could meet at this very point. And here we go. So let's see who flinches first.
An experienced team for Metamora. Record-setting season for the Redbirds. Here's Kaiser. Spins.
Wow.
Oh, look out. Rejected by Miles Rubin. He had a state record 8 blocks yesterday.
Well, you want to set the tone? This is how you set the tone from Miles Rubin. Unbelievable timing. He knew that he had to help out his point guard, Jalen Griffith. Times that very well and just sends that out. But Metamora gets the first 2 basket points of the game.
Luke Hopp gets it after 9 passes on that possession by Metamora.
Metamora is a team that wants to control this tempo. We'll get into those keys in a little bit before this first quarter is over, but they want to really slow down Simeon and that athleticism that they have.
Kaiser off the miss from Miles Rubin. The pull-up a little bit short. Nearly got the ball inside. Well, we've talked about Robert Smith. I don't know how much more you can say. Casey mentioned the 6 state championships. He had 4 in a row earlier on, 512. Make that 13 victories after that win over St. Ignatius. Just a legend in Illinois high school basketball.
Yeah, Dave, you and I were on the broadcast for his sixth state championship in 2013 with star Jabari Parker. Such a loaded team that year. Jabari Parker, Jalen Tate, got Kendall Pollard. I mean, Kendrick Nunn. It's unbelievable talent.
Turnaround from Tyson Swanson.
Great start for the Redbirds in this opening quarter. You really are setting the tone for yourselves on the offensive end. And again, letting Simeon know that they're going to be in for a battle for 32 minutes. Up 4-0. It's a huge start for Danny Greaves' team.
Little floater from Ratliff, and the rebound comes off to Swanson. The ball in the early 4-0 lead for the Redbirds. 31 wins in a row for Metamora.
They're going to stay within their system. You see how they're trying to space Simeon now. Simeon is not going to go zone. They're going to play you man-to-man and force you to beat them.
Three would not go for Swanson. Now Griffith wants to make a move here on the right side. To the middle. Looking for three. Nearly banked in by Wesley Rubin.
Yeah, now count that to nerves for Wesley Rubin. Normally he has a very smooth shot, so to see that shot come off the backboard and then hard off the rim, you can tell he's trying to get himself comfortable in this opening quarter. See this matchup between Michael Ratliff and Ethan Kaiser. That's something to keep an eye on throughout this four-quarter game, Dave.
Well, Ratliff was the key to the game yesterday as far as Robert Smith was concerned, the win over St. Ignatius. Wolverines looking for their first points of this game. Griffith into the paint for the score.
It's only right. The point guard, Jalen Griffith, he has been spectacular all season long for Simeon and head coach Robert Smith at that point guard position. He plays wise beyond his years, and you look at his size, I mean, he's not the biggest guy on the floor. In fact, he's the smallest at 5'10", but I'll tell you what, you cannot measure his heart, especially on drives like that. He has no fear.
Miles Rubin goes up high off the miss.
Good job of Metamora, defensive transition, making sure that they know where the ball is, but you got to step up a little sooner than that.
Griffith gets to the basket twice in succession. Numbers for Metamora.
Good push from the Redbirds. Very nice.
Little floater over the hand of Miles Rubin for Tyson Swanson.
And that's Metamora. They take what you give them, right? I mean, they're not going to be sped up by a team that has the athletes and have the talent and have the speed. If it's an open court transition type play, what we just saw, they're going to take advantage of it.
There's a three that will go down for Wesley Rubin.
Yeah, for those that are thinking that, man, why didn't he shoot that first three? It was off the backboard. It was off the rim hard. Can he shoot? Yeah, he can shoot. He just knocked down a difficult corner three.
Wesley Rubin headed to Northern Iowa. Of course, twin brothers, Miles and Wesley. Miles headed to Loyola for Simeon.
Yeah, Wesley's a great kid, but when I saw he was choosing Northern Iowa, I felt a little bad being a Southern Illinois Saluki. But again, the Redbirds right to the rim there, showing their strength.
Drew Tucker this time. Looking for three from the top, wow. Bring it up.
Very smooth from Sam Lewis. Caught that basketball low below his D's and just lets you know how much time and effort he's put into perfecting his shot.
Yesterday, Simeon made 6 out of 8 three-pointers en route to a 77% shooting percentage. Speaking of shooting percentages, Metamora has made 4 of its 8 shots. Rubin with the block. Griffith dishes to low. A lot of traffic inside.
Look at Ratliff. My goodness.
About 4 different attempts for Michael Ratliff. Robert Smith calls him the junkyard dog. And that bucket will give Simeon the lead.
Averaging 6.5 points, 4 rebounds. This guy has been so phenomenal for this Wolverines team the past 2 years. I mean, you look at the score box and you're like, wait a minute. He only had like 6 points, 3 rebounds, but it was the timing of those points and those rebounds from Michael Ratliff.
No room for Tucker.
Again, it's going to be 5 out, nobody in for the Redbirds. All 5 players for Danny Greaves' team can dribble, pass, and shoot, and they can do it very well. So it's going to put all of the Wolverines on defense accountable. You cannot sleep if you're on the help side or if you're on the ball.
We have played continuously for quite some time. No dead balls. Here comes Griffith.
Great pass.
The hook pass to Miles Rubin.
That is when the Wolverines are at their best. In transition, Jalen Griffith pushing. He knew he had Miles Rubin the entire time. In fact, Miles knew that his point guard was going to get him that basketball. But first, we're going to talk about the junkyard dog, Michael Ratliff. Look at him battling. I mean, what about 5 offensive rebounds maybe on 1 possession? He's going 1 on 4. But then here's Jalen Griffith in transition. Miles Rubin, lefty finish. The Wolverines have taken control of this tempo. Metamora better respond after this timeout.
Metamora has sold out just about every arena here in the last couple of months, except for State Farm Center, and they're under head coach Danny Greaves. Danny Greaves started his coaching career 14 years from Mississippi. He was also head coach of Peoria and Notre Dame for 4 years. In his 12th season at Metamora, 262 wins, 63 of them coming in the last 2 years.
Wow.
And here's ISU's keys to the game. Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Starting it off with the Redbirds, they have to control tempo. Hey, they only had 3 turnovers versus East St. Louis yesterday, and that was all from Tyler Mason. But he's a better ball handler and takes care of the ball better than that. And then the next thing for the Redbirds is they have to stay the course. They're down 4. Simeon's playing well. But the thing about Metamora, they will stay within this ball game, especially in the final minutes, so do not count them out. Now, on the side for the Wolverines, they got to have defensive awareness. I talked about the Redbirds and how they have 5 players that can dribble, pass, and shoot just like that from Tyler Swanson. You have to be aware of where they are at all times. Robert Smith's teams have allowed, or team this season has allowed only average under 50 points in terms of what they've given up to opponents, and then they have to play the Simeon way. It's a winning culture. It's rewarded them with 7 state titles as a program in their history. So if they do those things and take care of them, then they could hoist state title number 8 as a program.
Tyson Swanson's 3 ended a 7-0 Simeon run. Every starter for Simeon has scored. Under a minute to play here in the first quarter in a 1-point game.
And here's that offense for the Redbirds. They'll keep a big or a player around free throw line extended and use a lot of X cuts off of that player. So as a defender, especially on the help side, you have to be aware of what's going on. Naturally, you're taught when your man passes the ball, you jump to that basketball to get away, but you have to be aware of the screener, and then also if your man is trying to go backdoor or maybe pop back out for a quick screen and shot.
Swanson pounding the ball. 7 of his team's 11 points, and now they'll go with 10 seconds. Swanson is fouled, and that will stop the clock with 4.2 seconds. Plenty of time to set up a sideline inbound.
Watch out for the quick hitter here with Ethan Kaiser. He's a guy that is really good at the pick and the pop. Has the height advantage over Michael Ratliff, so that's something to keep an eye on here.
Right up the top, Kaiser gets the touch. He thought about it from long distance, comes up shorter. And that will close the first quarter. Well, this is what's supposed to happen. The Associated Press voters at the end of the year had a tie between Simeon and Metamora for the top-ranked team. It's a 1-point game after 1, your 3A title game.
Back with you on the IHSA TV network. We have a 1-point game in the second quarter of this 3A state championship. Metamora head coach Danny Greaves' daughter is in the middle of her breast cancer battle. Nikki Tyson was diagnosed in August with stage 3 breast cancer. She had a mastectomy this past Tuesday morning, which we can confirm was successful. Greaves said she does have a long road ahead of her, though. This Redbirds team wears warm-ups with the hashtag TysonTough on them. They also have bracelets they wear to honor Nikki. If the Redbirds can win a state championship today, they said they are dedicating this one to Nikki.
Thanks, Casey. That's a great story, and players rallying around their coach and the coach's family. It's been a rough year for Danny Greaves, and he's on the biggest stage at the biggest time here tonight.
See, a lot of things are bigger than basketball, and you see those type of stories and you hear those type of stories. It doesn't matter if you're a supporter of Metamora, Simeon, or a different school, is that we're all human, and we can all connect and relate to that. So prayers are definitely up for Coach Greaves' family.
Metamora the ball, down by 1. Redbirds made 5 field goals on 4 assists, but they turn it over here.
Great pass.
Griffith got it in deep to Michael Ratliff. He took a beating inside. How about that? The vision and the delivery from Jalen Griffith.
Yeah, he doesn't hesitate. And a lot of that comes from just playing with your teammates and just being around them on the off of the court in the off season. But you see the pass threading the needle. Jalen Griffin has been making those passes since he was probably 6 years old. Like it just comes natural to him. And so when you see those type of passes, you shouldn't be shocked to the point where, like, man, I couldn't believe he got that through. You should be shocked to the point like, man, he's just that confident of being able to have that ability to thread the needle like that.
Michael Ratliff gets the first of 2. It will be Drew Tucker bringing it up. Tucker, as he crossed half court, take a look at him and imagine him with 30 pounds less on his frame. That's what he was playing with last year. Put on 30 pounds since the championship game last year.
Wow.
And that was partially because that game was physical. You know, we saw that against Sacred Heart Griffith in the double overtime game, and they decided, Metamora said, let's get in the weight room. You know, let's be able to be stronger than we were last year, and obviously it's paid off for 31 wins in a row.
Yeah, Drew Tucker has definitely been in the weight room. I mean, a lot of people need to get the Drew Tucker workout plan because he looks great after those 30 pounds that he put on.
Miles Rubin outlets to Griffith. Here he comes to Wes Rubin.
That's a tough finish.
He had the right spin on that ball, and it stretches the lead to 4 at 15-11.
Well, the Panthers of Northern Iowa, you are getting yourself a player, dual threat with his size at 6'8", can shoot it, can run the floor, and can finish at a high level.
Wes Rubin averages 11 points per game. He already has 5 today. He was held to 2 yesterday.
Doing a good job defensively sliding his feet over on Drew Tucker. Tucker tried to take advantage of that baseline, but the length, the timing of Wes Rubin to slide over and cut that off, and to force a turnover by Tucker.
4th turnover for Metamora. Simeon has yet to turn the ball over.
Seeing Coach Greaves switching his defense now. Now the Redbirds are in a 2-3 zone. Going to try and force Simeon to beat them from the outside, but they got to get high ends because guys like Griffith can shoot the basketball along with Sam Lewis.
Matthew Zobrist with the rebound. Matthew came in at the last dead ball.
Dave, how about the chess match that we're getting between Robert Smith and Danny Greaves, right? I mean, we've talked so much about the players on the court, their abilities, their skill sets, and what they've been able to do in the colleges that they're going to, but the chess match of greatness between Robert Smith and Danny Greaves is the game within the game.
Well, the other part that's intriguing about that, look at this strong rebound from Miles Rubin, is Metamora won on an 11-0 run in the final 5 minutes last year in the semifinals. Robert Smith says, I got out-coached the last 3 minutes of that game.
Yeah. And how many coaches would admit that as we see another basket inside of the paint for Wesley Rubin? The Rubin brothers connecting on there, but how many coaches that have too much pride wouldn't admit that, hey, I got out-coached. And Robert Smith said that loss last year to Metamora was on me. My kids were not prepared, but he said, I guaranteed them that if they got back to this point where they face Metamora in Champaign, that they will be more than prepared to face the Redbirds. And we're seeing that so far in the first half.
Rubin comes right out and gets Zobrist and then picks up the steal. How about the impact of 6'9" Miles Rubin? Matt Zobrist thought he had a clean look. Brother to brother. We'll make that Ratliff to Miles. And he'll go with the little hook. Miles Rubin, yesterday, 20 points, 8 blocks, 10 of 11 from the floor.
We talked about his brother Wes and where he's going with Northern Iowa, but Loyola Rambler fans, that's your future right there. Wesley Rubin is going to be a heck of a player the next 4 years for the Loyola Ramblers.
This is the second 7-0 run Simeon has had today. This one opens up the second quarter and opens up an 8-point lead.
Tough shot. You're starting to see Metamora press a little bit, Dave. Shots aren't falling. They're not able to get stops on the defensive end. But again, I've told this and I've said this time and time again on this broadcast. They will stay the course. Do not count this team out, because we've seen it time and time again the past couple of years on this very floor. They just find a way to fight back within the game.
Sam Lewis was waiting for it. Next dead ball will be a timeout. Metamora really needs a bucket here before they get to that whistle.
Wait for Zobrist to try and do something with that basketball. The young lefty Has a lot of game within him. He is that spark off the bench for this team.
Ethan Kaiser's been quiet. Kick out. Zobrist gets a good look. Maybe didn't need the ball fake. Kaiser still looking for his first points. Kaiser 0 for 4 from the field.
I'm looking at sorry about that, Dave. I'm looking at Tyler Swanson on the way back on the defensive end. He's screaming at Matthew Zobrist. He said, shoot the ball. That's in rhythm, and I agree with him. You have to shoot that basketball. Can't pass up those in-rhythm shots.
Zobrist misfired on 2 of them because he passed up a couple. Oh, how much spin can you put on a ball, Wesley Rubin?
Wow. I mean, does he have like some powder in his hand or something like that to get the grip of the ball? I know Wilson basketballs have the best grip, and that's the best basketball that you can play with when you're not in the NBA. But, man, that was a beautiful spin.
Welcome to the IHSA TV network. Darius Joshua and Coach Mark Lindo here for you. Ethan Kaiser scoreless for Metamora, but Miles Rubin putting his stamp on this game on both ends.
Well, he was brilliant yesterday, even more terrific today. 6 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks already. Impactful this game. How about Jalen Griffin, the point guard? He had 12 assists yesterday, a couple today already. And, man, when he has a basketball, you better keep eyes up and hands open because he's going to deliver right in stride for you. Metamora, they can't get any deeper behind Simeon right now.
Yeah, Wesley Rubin as well, 7 points to lead the Wolverines early here. David Cameron, take you through the rest of the half. We will see you at halftime.
All right, thanks, Darius. Mark, we look forward to that. The IHSA Boys Basketball State Finals are presented by OSF Healthcare. If we go back about 365, 366 days, these 2 teams met in the semifinals. And in that one, it was Metamora that pulled out the win with a big run at the end.
Yeah, that's why one of my keys for the Redbirds was stay the course. And look, they were down in this game, but just found a way to come back. And they really feel like they set teams up, right? They played possum for a few quarters. I'm sure Danny Greaves doesn't want that. But then those final minutes, they just turn the page and turn the corner and raise their level of play. And it's a big reason why they were competing for a state championship last year against Sacred Heart Griffin. You see Simeon, that loss stuck with them for a number of months and about a year now, to your point, Dave, about 366 days ago that the Wolverines have been waiting for this rematch. But I will say this, Simeon is up 10, it's 21-11, but keep this in mind, everybody watching this broadcast. The Wolverines have been up big against opponents this season, and I'm looking at 3 games in particular. They were up big against Moline at the When Sides Collide shootout. Moline was able to come back and make that a ball game, and that's a big 3, his first points of the ball game for Ethan Kaiser. He was 0 for 4 to that point. But then the second game was against Bidden Academy at the prestigious Pontiac tournament, where they allowed the Red Wings to come back in that ball game. And their latest comeback, or the opponent comeback, was Kenwood. They were down almost 30 points in the city championship and came back to force overtime against Simeon. So despite them being, well, they were up double digits, but having a strong lead, you got to watch out because they are susceptible to giving up leads.
Metamora will have it. I want to push it a little bit here. You know, I'm not the only one that says Nick Pinto was his best statistician in the game. Many, many people across this country say that. How about this? Right now, Simeon, 19 possessions. They've scored 10 times, have not turned the ball over. Metamora, 19 possessions. They've scored 5 times with 5 turnovers.
Wow.
And yet they're within 7.
Yeah.
And if you're Danny Greaves, you're saying, wow, I don't like the sound of those numbers, but I'm okay right now.
Yeah, he would definitely take it. And how much basketball has Danny Greaves seen over the span of his life so far, either played in or coached in? So he's like, yeah, I'll take those numbers if we're only going to be down 7 points.
All right, now that's not fair. Jalen Griffin is not playing fair when he penetrates, fades away, and gets the soft roll off the rim. What a great, great shot from the senior.
5'10", and I'm going to try and guess his weight because the Wolverines didn't put it in the program. I'll give him about a $155, $160 maybe. That might be a little generous, but to take the contact and get that shot off is amazing for Griffin.
Tyler Mason got rid of it in a hurry, but his team is down 9.
I'm sure Griffin is going to see this broadcast after games like, Cam, come on, how are you going to give me 155 pounds? I've been in the weight room, man. Give me some more love than that. Be huge for the Redbirds if they can get a stop going into halftime, and especially if they can get a score.
Sam Lewis, such a tough matchup.
Good job from Drew Tucker right there. Sam Lewis trying to give him the jab steps. He didn't go with it. Stayed right in his grill and contested the shot. Big offensive possession for the Redbirds here.
Their crowd making some noise. They come to their feet. Final 15 seconds of the first half. Drew Tucker. Clock shows 5. He has to find somebody or get it up. That'll come up a little bit short for Luke Hopp. Metamora led 8-5 at one point. They trail by 8 here at the end of the first half. We gave you those numbers, the possessions, the turnovers. I would tell you yesterday when Danny Greaves walked into the locker room, they were trailing East St. Louis at halftime. I happened to be right down there in that area. He walked straight to his locker room. His coaches said, we're okay. We're okay. Yeah. Let's just stay the course.
Yeah, somebody has to be calm, because if the players are frustrated and the coaches are frustrated, then you're not going to get anything solved. They are going to stay the course in this ball game. So look for a better and stronger effort from the Redbirds in the second half.
Let's go to Casey. She's with Robert Smith of Simeon.
Coach, multiple scores in that first half contributing to the offense, a lot of ball movement. How do you keep that momentum in the second half?
Just play Simeon basketball. Just shatter basketball. Don't care who's scoring. And guard. We got to continue to play defense. Can't have mental breakdowns on the defensive end.
Any strategy to guard Kaiser and Swanson in the second half?
Just keep guarding the way we guard. They're great players, so they're going to make some plays. We just got to contain them the best we can.
Thanks, Coach. Dave?
Thanks, Casey. Well, Ethan Kaiser, he's hit 1 3. That came in the second quarter. That was the only Metamora points in the period. Simeon bidding for championship number 7 for Robert Smith. 9-point advantage.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV network. There's Joshua, Coach Mark Lindo here for you. 23-14 lead at the half for Simeon. Let's go to the highlights of how they got up in the first 16 minutes. Early in the second quarter, nice pass to Wesley Rubin down low from Jalen Griffin, and he has a very nice finish as well. He had 7 points in the opening half. He really was much more aggressive than he was in the beginning game. He had just 2 points in that game, but was focused on getting to the rim and scoring. Simeon up by 10 with 3 minutes to play. Under 2 to go then. Jalen Griffin, the man who's leading the team in assists, but also showing off he's got a shooter's touch as well. He and Simeon leading 23-14 at the half. It really has been the Rubens show so far in this game, and they got the Wolverines in control at halftime.
Well, they've combined for 10 points. They're putting the ball up on the board and going to get it themselves. A really good job by Jalen Griffin with his assists. They've been very efficient, 10 buckets, 5 assists on that. So they're really distributing the ball, doing a great job sharing the basketball and getting up and down the floor in transition. What Simeon's doing right now, they're playing very free and easy in the open court and having fun doing it.
Yeah, we saw how well they could shoot the ball in the semifinals, shooting 77% as a team. We saw Ethan Kaiser have success in the semifinals as well. So far in this game, not the same case. What is Simeon doing defensively?
Well, I think they're jumping at him. They're extending his range quite a bit. They pushed him out 22 feet. He's really not had any kind of rhythm yet. And at the same time, Simeon offensively has 0 turnovers, 7 points off of Metamora turnovers. So they've done a really good job both ends of the floor. But if Metamora is going to get back, Kaiser's got to have 10 or 12 points in the second half alone.
Yeah, right now 1 for 6 from the floor for just the lone triple that he made in the first half. So 23-14 lead for the Wolverines over the Redbirds at halftime. We look ahead to our 4A game to come later on, as well as more on this game when we come back.
Teams warming up here to get ready to start the second half. Simeon, that 23-14 lead over Metamora. Glad you've joined us here from the State Farm Center. Dave Earnhardt along with Cam Smith. And you take a look at how this game started. You had 9 passes on the first possession for Metamora, and then all of a sudden, Simeon got their feet underneath, and the Wolverines went to work.
Yeah, they started to control things on both ends of the floor and really got into their flow and played the Simeon way. As you heard Robert Smith talk to Casey Standard-Hard before he went into halftime, and it started with Jalen Griffith, but then here's Wes Rubin showing his skill set, and Sam Lewis. So it's like the floodgates opened up a little bit for the Wolverines. They had all 5 players score in that first half, and you saw the skill set from all those players, especially Wesley Rubin, who led all scorers. In fact, he was tied with Tyler Swanson for the high when it comes to points at 7, but Ethan Kaiser has struggled shooting the basketball. Really not been the Ethan Kaiser that I highlighted in our player spotlight, but guess what? There's another half of basketball to be played. He's 1 of 6 from the floor, but more importantly for Metamora, they have to be aggressive attacking the paint. They have not shot a free throw yet in this ball game. They went 17 of 22 in yesterday's semifinal win against East St. Louis. But on the flip side for the Simeon Wolverines, phenomenal job of taking care of the basketball in that first half. Yesterday they had 11 turnovers. In the first half, they had 20 possessions, 0 turnovers. That wins you championships.
I mentioned Metamora had 9 passes on their first score. Their second score, they had 6 passes. Then all of a sudden, they stopped shooting a little bit. However, when they passed, they scored 5 assists on 6 field goals. And the Redbirds will have it to start. You've got to believe Kaiser's going to get that touches in a little bit better scoring position than he was in the first half. There's a good look for a 3. A little bit long for Luke Hopp.
Yeah, Hopp just didn't look comfortable shooting that ball. He had 3 points yesterday against East St. Louis.
Flying through for the rebound is Tyler Mason. He wants to push. There's Kaiser, didn't get it cleanly. Up he goes.
There
Down
it
goes.
You got to watch out for him. Here comes Jordan. You see that hair flowing after that 3. You're not going to see Ethan Kaiser start to hype up the crowd. He's going to stay within his game and stay himself. But that is a big sign for Metamora to start this second half. You get your star knocking down the 3.
All of a sudden you look up, it's a 6-point difference. Wes Rubin. That's an offensive foul as Kaiser took the charge. Let's go to Casey Standehar. She was with Danny Greaves.
Coach, your guards, Ethan Kaiser and Swanson, getting a lot of good open looks, getting to the basket. What's the number one thing you want to do in the second half to keep getting them more offensive production?
Well, first of all, I think our defense wasn't too terrible. When you can hold a team like this at 23 points, that's pretty good. But at 14 points, we've had a good, many of those open looks. We just got to knock some shots down, and they're killing us. We haven't got but one offensive glass board. We just got to do a better job on the glass.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Casey. And, you know, you hear that little accent there. It's not a Metamora accent. It's a Mississippi accent. We mentioned that Danny Greaves coached for 14 years in Mississippi. He won a state title in the state of Mississippi. He's looking for one here in Illinois.
Yeah, knows how to win championships. And great drive there on the baseline from Tyler Mason, their other star for the Redbirds. You're seeing their 2 leaders step up. Kaiser on one end, knocking down the 3, and then picking up the charge on Wes Rubin. Very next offensive possession for the Redbirds is Swanson on the baseline and finishing right at the rim. That's what Metamora needs. They have to start attacking that lane.
Jalen Griffith. Once again, it's Mason up high for the board. Kaiser over Miles Rubin. Tip right into the hand of Mason. And this is a 2-point game.
The vibes are different inside of State Farm Center. Now the fans dressed in red for Metamora are up. They're excited. They say that this is the team we've seen all season long play phenomenal basketball.
Sam Lewis on the miss. Metamora started this quarter on a 7-0 run. If they can extend that, they will tie or take the lead.
The good thing about this run for Metamora is now they have Simeon second-guessing some things defensively.
Zobrist did not get the kind roll off the rim. Griffith flying through, spinning. One and done for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Griffith tried to finger roll that basketball. I don't think he needed the finger roll. I felt that he should just go straight up and try and kiss it off the glass. Got a little too fancy on that play.
Nice catch by Kaiser. Strong board.
Whoa.
And that's sent out of here by Miles Rubin.
Strong board, strong block from Rubin. Let's get back to the Redbirds attacking this offensive glass. And Dave, the Redbirds are actually out-rebounding Simeon 21-15 through these 3 quarters so far. And that's Tyler Mason there. Mason again, baseline attack. Help side is a little too late, and that's an easy deuce for a guy that has time and time again been the guy for Danny Greaves' team.
Zobrist gets a big screen on top. Return for 3! 10-0 run. Tyson Swanson puts Metamora on top. 24-23, and this building is roaring.
That's why one of my keys, again, for the Redbirds, stay the course. They have stayed the course. They will not get rattled. Doesn't matter how much the deficit is, they will stay within this game as Robert Smith calls a quick timeout to settle down his players.
Jalen Griffith got that bucket to stop the 10-0 run and put Simeon back on top. You know, earlier on, Cameron, in the first quarter, it was interesting. We were looking at Tim Flowers, who is taking over for Robert Smith. We'll get to that thought in a second, but here's for the lead.
Yeah, and this was off the screen on Michael Ratliff. I mean, he really screened Michael Ratliff and then popped and spaced away to get that three to go. And big answer by the senior, Jalen Griffith. Simeon desperately needed that basket to retake this lead, but it is a new ball game in this third quarter.
I was saying Tim Flowers was doing a lot of the sideline coaching in the first quarter, but then all of a sudden Robert Smith got up and said, okay, all right, not yet. This is still my team, and it's Robert Smith that's managing this game right now.
Yeah, and after that three from Tyson Swanson, as Griffith was bringing the basketball to the front court, I looked over to the sideline. I saw Robert Smith with both of his arms up, signaling to his players, hey, settle down, slow down. We knew this was going to happen. This is essentially a home game for Metamora because the drive wasn't that far for them compared to people traveling from Chicago for the Simeon Wolverines faithful. So he's like, hey, we knew this was going to happen. This is a part of the storm that we knew we were walking into. Let's settle down, get a basket. Now let me call a timeout to re-emphasize that, hey, guys, they're not going to quit, so get back to what allowed us to get a double-digit lead in the first half.
I want to go back to that interview Casey had with Danny Greaves. What was Greaves' big point? We've got to get on the offensive backboards. Well, not only does Metamora have a 7-2 rebounding advantage in this quarter, it's 3-0 on the offensive boards.
Stronger effort, more urgency for the Redbirds. Now again, back to their offense, right? You see Ethan Kaiser right there at the top. Those are the screens that I'm talking about and the dive cuts from the players. Look how they work off of Ethan Kaiser right there in the middle. Once you pass that ball away, you're going to cut diagonally. So now it's up to really the help side and the passer, who's defending, the guys defending the pass, to really be aware of what's going on.
Another strong work on the offensive glass. Second chance. Possession arrow belongs to Simeon.
Yeah, it's a big stop right there from Caden Space, showing his strength right there. The base to really get himself down in the stance and snatch that basketball away to get possession for the Wolverines.
The IHSA Boys Basketball State Finals are presented by OSF Healthcare. Cam mentioned it's not a long drive for all those fans clad in red, the Metamora fans. Outside of the Peoria area, they make their journey here to State Farm Center in Champaign on the campus of the University of Illinois. And as you know, Simeon will come out of the city of Chicago. Very familiar trip. So all those trips have been to Peoria. I should say all of the wins for Robert Smith have come in Peoria. Back here in Champaign, well, he's looking for his first one here. And, of course, for Metamora, their fans looking for their first state championship in school history. It's the second straight appearance in the Final Four for the Redbirds.
Dave, I'm doing a quick pan around State Farm Center, and the upper bowl is definitely filling up. So not only do fans that are not supporters of Simeon or Metamora want to see a great basketball game, but they're ready for the next one between Moline and Bennett Academy in the 4A state championship.
Sam Lewis with the rebound to Tucker.
Good defensive stop right there out of the timeout for the Redbirds.
Caden Space into the ball game for Simeon. That was the first substitution today for Simeon.
Which is kind of rare for Robert Smith. Usually you'll see him make a substitution or two in the first half, but his starters were playing so well, he just let them play the entire first half, those 16 minutes. Space is a good guard. He's going to play his basketball at Stony Brook next season. Transferred in from St. Rita High School. Simeon played St. Rita earlier this year, and it was not a close game. It was a dominant performance by the Wolverines.
Kaiser came off a screen, got a pretty good look. Swanson's going to get called for the foul.
How about Jalen Griffith at 5'10", getting up, getting a little hang time up there.
Caden Space came in, and the man he was guarding was Tyson Swanson. Swanson with 10 points, leading the way for Metamora with a couple of threes. Now Wes Rubin comes back in for Simeon, and he'll replace Sam Lewis.
Smith describes Caden Space as a guy that changes their lineup. He really describes him as a down-the-stretch guy. So that means he's in there in those meaningful minutes when ball games are tight. After 7.5 points and 2.5 rebounds, had 9 points in the semifinal win yesterday. And there's a quick basket, Rubin to Rubin.
Miles Rubin had an opening after Ethan Kaiser ended up on the deck. 3-point lead for the Wolverines.
Seeing Space pick up Drew Tucker just above half court. So now Simeon trying to force a little more pressure on the ball.
Kaiser pulls it down. Mason to Kaiser. Has a height advantage. Instead kicks it out to Zobrist. He does not hesitate this time. Rebound off to Wesley Rubin. A chance to stretch this 3-point lead with 2 minutes to play in the third. Inside position along to Metamora. That was Matthew Zobrist, and over the back was Miles Rubin.
Yeah, Miles could do anything with that because Zobrist at the inside position. We're going to look at what Loyola Rambler fans can expect next season when Miles Rubin attends their program and really adds a nice element to them. And then in the Missouri Valley, Northern Iowa, Wes Rubin, 6'8", stretch out and shoot the three. Has some very nice passing ability as well. I think that's the underrated part of Wes's game.
He had 5 assists in the semifinals yesterday. Metamora has been scoreless the last 3 minutes. They had the lead, now down by 3.
Going back to those ball screens at the top again, looking for a little pick and pop action. Nice move from Mason to get inside.
Boy, he had to fade away from 6'8" Wesley Rubin.
Oh, and on the back pedal, Tyler Swanson putting his hand down, saying, hey, Rubin's a little too short. He's a little too little for me. I know he's 6'8", but I'm putting my hand down like, yeah, he's too small. I like that gamesmanship.
A 1-point game. 60 seconds to play in the third. Griffith from the elbow. Now Metamora the ball, a chance for the lead.
Both teams struggling to score the basketball in this third quarter. The bucket here for Metamora to head into the fourth with the lead would be monumental to the Spirits for the Redbirds.
Metamora has outscored Simeon 12-4 in this period. That's after Metamora was held to just 3 points in the second quarter. They will look for the lead on the final possession of this period. Zobrist. Zobrist, let's fly. Griffith. Don't know that he got it up in time. Doesn't matter. What does is a 1-point difference at the half. What did you expect? 27-26.
Look at this move. Oh, very nice. Right to left crossover through the legs by Tyler Mason. And look at the back pedal. You see the right hand down saying, hey, he's a little too little for me. Grow up. Beautiful basket.
Back with you on the IHSA TV network. We have a 1-point game in this 3A finals game. I'm here with Jabari Parker, former NBA player, Duke star. Jabari, you're in the student section hanging out. Does this bring back memories being at your alma mater?
It brings out a lot of memories. More importantly, the support is there, the school spirit is there, and that's what we came here for, to support Simeon.
You guys are cheering your heart out in the student section. Is that making you feel like you're a student again?
Yeah, I feel like a student again. Maybe I got an hour left of school that I didn't complete, but this is how I'm making it up right now.
You were the #2 overall pick in the NBA draft. You also went to Duke, but we go back even further. Let's talk about the legacy of Coach Smith and all 4 years that you were a state champion.
Yeah, we did it. We did it as a unit. We did it as a team. It took a collective group of guys to come together, achieve a goal, and we're here to see it similar out here. Both teams, I applaud them for their hard work, and whoever's going to win, congratulations to them.
What advice would you give this team right now?
I would give the advice is to enjoy the moment. Be in tune with the moment because you can't buy this experience back.
How special would it be for you to see your former coach, Robert Smith, win his 7th and final state title?
It would bring a lot of joy for me, but I'm already proud of Coach Rob. Words can't explain how much I'm grateful for him, and I'm always here to support him.
Lastly, how did your time at Simeon make you a better ball player in college and in the NBA?
Well, Simeon is iron, sharpens iron. You got to go through difficulty. You got to go through competition to bring the best of you, and that's what it brought for me. I played against a lot of talented individuals while I was at school, and that's why my game excelled.
Jabari Parker, we'll let you go back to the student section and enjoy this one. Thanks for hanging out with us. Dave, we'll send it back over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Casey. One of 2 free throws for Tyler Mason ties this game 30 seconds into the fourth quarter.
The first free throws for Metamora this evening.
Miles Rubin has Kaiser right on his hip. With the left hand and touch last by Drew Tucker.
Drew Tucker has to control himself because he did not agree with the call from the baseline official. Want to see if the Wolverines will go back to Wes Rubin in the post area. He has the advantage over Ethan Kaiser. Just wasn't able to finish that play. Dangerous pass from space.
We've played a minute in the fourth quarter. Griffith finds Rubin.
And the Wolverines bench, they're screaming at the officials saying that should have been goaltending because one of the Redbirds hit the backboard as Caden Space gets drilled by a ball screen.
And meanwhile, the 3 goes down for Tyson Swanson. His third 3 of the game gives Metamora the 3-point lead.
That screen right before half court freed up that space. And look at Jalen Griffin. That is a major crowd silencer there from the senior.
How about that? Swanson drains a 3, pure. Griffith had one thing in mind. If I have some space, it's going up.
I'm just mentally, as a Simeon player, because they were upset because that was a goaltend because the backboard was smacked by a Redbirds player. You cannot interfere with the rim or the backboard when the shot is on the rim. They don't get that play to go. Then Swanson comes back down after getting a beautiful screen to free up space to put the Redbirds up 3. But then here comes Griffith. Look at the screen here. You have to be up on that ball screen, Wesley Rubin. You have to let your teammate know that screen is coming. You do not want a teammate to get hurt, but still Swanson hand ready, shot ready, buries it. But again, Jalen Griffith, after that big Swanson 3, with the Metamora faithful screaming at the top of their lungs, comes down and as cool as water buries a major 3. We have to get Caden Space and Epsom salt bath after this game. Swanson straight ahead. That is his spot. I mean, that left wing, Tyler Swanson lives on.
He set the screen. He got the 3. Griffith answers with the 3. We're tied at 30. 6:20 to play in the 3A championship.
Redbirds back into the offense. Anybody that catches that basketball at the top, you can expect the ball screen, and everyone is interchangeable, so watch out for the pick and pops. Redbirds just looking for their opening against this defense. Now, Zobus has a drive if he wants to take it against Wesley Rubin.
Kaiser posting up. Kicks it out. Zobrist.
Whoa!
Oh, get out of here. Zobrist had the opening. And the fourth block for Simeon denies him.
Well, how about a little brotherly love? I mean, Miles Rubin says, okay, you do this to my brother? Well, I'm going to come to his aid right there and send that out of bounds.
Drew Tucker will back it out. Patience, patience from the Redbirds.
Yeah,
they have played tight ball games on this floor in the last 2 years. This is not phasing them here. The opening, that's the 5th block for Miles Rubin. He had 8 yesterday.
I mean, his timing is so impeccable on these blocks, Dave. And this is more so a credit not to just his length, his athleticism, but it's more so of him being able to see ball you man, right? He's on the help side on this play, so these blocks don't happen if Miles Rubin doesn't see where the basketball is, and he blocks these shots without fouling. That's the most key point that I want to make there.
That was his 6th block of the night. And this has been a long possession for Metamora.
It really has, and I know some true basketball purists are going to say, well, just block the shot and keep it in bounds like Bill Russell used to do back in the day. I agree on that point, but he's trying to send a message for his Wolverines team.
Oh, the reverse from Swanson. He used the backboard and the rim as an extra offensive player.
And how about that decision from Swanson? He recognized that Wes Rubin was away from that rim. In fact, he was above the free throw line, so Swanson got right to the rim. If Griffith misses that layup, you don't see him do that too many times.
Boy, he got right there. And now Metamora, the ball in the lead.
We have seen anything from Simeon defensively as strong as they have been this evening. If you have that basketball against Wesley Rubin on that baseline area, you can try and attack him, especially if his twin brother Miles is above that free throw line.
Zobrist attacks.
Dangerous pass there from Zobrist. That was coming our way, Dave.
Yeah, thank goodness that Tyler Mason used every bit of that 6'1" frame and more. That'll be just a little bump and a push from Miles Rubin. We're nowhere near bonus time yet from the free throw line. But what we are near is the end of this game. 3 minutes and 51 seconds remaining. When we come back, Metamora will have the ball in a 2-point lead. Thanks to Tyson Mason's reverse. (32-30) here in your 3A championship game between the two teams ranked #1 in the state. This is the 3rd championship game of the day here today. Congratulations to Jabot Catholic from Waterloo, the win over Scales Mound. Scales Mound finishes 2nd this year after a 3rd place finish last year. Jabot gets its 1st state championship. The Paul College Prep, the eventual easy win over Bloomington Central Catholic. And then coming up next, it'll be #1 Bennett, #2 Moline, 69 wins between them. It's time now for the Menards plays of the games. They've been bunting on home improvement needs. Let's go to Menards blocks of the game.
Yeah, and it has been a party for the Wolverines and mostly for Miles Rubin. He's been everywhere for this Wolverines team. Again, it's the timing, being able to block shots without fouling. It has saved so many points for Simeon. Big reason why they're now only trailing by 2, but this is a huge defensive trip for Robert Smith's team. And on the other end for Danny Greaves, a basket for the Redbirds would really put more pressure on Simeon to answer. So Metamora going again. You see Ethan Swanson there at the top. Had a quiet night, but you cannot sleep on him. Has that ability to pick and pop, especially with the size advantage over Michael Ratliff. But you're seeing these screens that he's setting. It's freeing up space, more so like a rub screen, not a full screen on it, just to give players a little space in case the passer wants to make a direct pass to them.
This possession started at the 4:41 mark, so it's gone a minute and a half.
There it is.
Backdoor cut. It goes to Mason.
They just lull you to sleep within that offense. As soon as they find their moment, quick backdoor, great timing from Metamora.
Caden Space down by 4.
This is a must-score possession for Simeon.
Clock winding down.
Cannot go empty on this trip.
Griffith has no room. Miles Rubin. Kaiser goes down, no whistle. Rubin will get the bucket.
I love the non-call by the official. You cannot flop in this situation. You got to be able to stand there and have some kind of resistance. Ethan Kaiser thought he can get away with one. Good finish from Miles Rubin. Now again for Metamora. The clock is their friend here, right? Simeon is on defense. They have to try and stay focused and not fall asleep like we saw in the last possession with Mason going back door on Griffith.
Zobrist up top.
See Robert Smith telling his players to move up, saying move up, we need more ball pressure.
Space gives it to him and also picks up the foul. That's the 5th team foul on Simeon. Well, you look the Metamora offense. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, you cannot fall asleep because there it is, the back door from Jalen Griffith. And I know he is lightning quick, but still, when you're out of position and you have a pass like this from Zobrist, you're going to get beat every single time. And there is no help for Simeon because the majority of the players from Metamora were above the free throw line, so there's no backside help on those back doors.
That assist of the game was brought to you by Donate Life Illinois. The IHSA teams up with Donate Life Illinois to encourage everyone to say yes to being an organ and tissue donor. Oh, partner.
It's what we expected, though, right?
Yeah, but it's 2 minutes left in a 2-point game. I don't know if I expected that. Oh, man. This is where Metamora was last year, right in a tight ball game against Sacred Heart Griffin last year in the second overtime. Sacred Heart Griffin in white, Keyshawn Singleton, trouble at the buzzer for the championship win, denying Metamora the title.
The presence of mind from Keyshawn Singleton and getting some love from the rim inside the State Farm Center to get that state championship for SGH. And this is a huge turnover from the Redbirds. Wow. Out of the timeout.
Now looking for the tie, possibly the lead. Griffith maintains a handle. Spins. Waits. Scores!
Wow, my goodness. Jalen Griffith, you are a wizard with that move. Spinning, able to keep himself and his feet down so he doesn't travel, and then the teardrop to tie this ball game. This is high-level basketball, ladies and gentlemen. You are getting a treat between Metamora and Simeon. You are welcome.
4 ties, 4 lead changes. We're at that 4th tie right now. Zobrist near half court.
Redbird space you out. You're going to see nobody's really down below the free throw line unless they're making their cut. So they're trying to eliminate any backside help. And you see Miles Rubin. He's getting pulled away from that basket.
We're under 60 seconds. And the turnover. Here's Griffith. And a whistle. A whistle. It was while Griffith was on the ground.
Smart move from Tucker to give up that foul. Only 2 team fouls now for Metamora. Griffith's trying to say, hey, I'm going to the line. It's very savvy of him, but that's going to be underneath out of bounds. And there's a steal from Griffith. Good foul from Tucker there. Got some contact with the body, but again, it's only the second team foul for the Redbirds, so they can still be aggressive.
Now our officials, Kevin Moore, Alan Coral, and Marcel Kerr, making sure everybody's all squared up here. With 45 to play.
Robert Smith is holding up his finger saying, one shot, one shot.
Space with 30. Back to Griffith. We're at 20. Final 15 seconds of regulation. Your 3A title game. Now 10. Griffith. They'll foul him quickly. 7 seconds left. They had fouls to give. They still have fouls to give.
Yes.
Excellent job.
Yes, and I feel that Danny Greaves will tell his team, and in fact, he is telling his team now, yes, go ahead and foul him again. You don't want to do it right away. Run a little time off because you only have 3 team fouls. So they can essentially force Simeon into a last-second shot with 1 or 2 seconds left, depending on how they use their fouls.
Griffith almost didn't let him be caught. Man.
Basketball IQ from Ethan Kaiser because he was beat on that inside-out move from Jalen Griffith. Wrapped up the 5'10 guard, and now side out again for Simeon. 4.8 left.
Well, you let them play on. No timeouts. Coaches trusting their players. That stops the clock with 3.4 seconds left, and that's still only the 5th team foul on Metamora. They have one more to give.
Now with 3.4 left, Dave, look at Miles Rubin against Ethan Kaiser. You're seeing that Metamora is going to foul the guards for Simeon anytime they're away from the rim or the painted area. So Miles Rubin has an opportunity to catch that ball in the paint and try and score over the top of Ethan Kaiser before the foul is committed.
And for that reason, before this timeout, or right as we hit the timeout, Danny Greaves brought in 6'8" Blue Cop for that very reason.
Talked about the chess match. Robert Smith, Danny Greaves, two coaches that have won state championships. Danny Greaves during his time as a head coach on the high school level in the state of Mississippi. We know the history of Robert Smith with his 6 state championships that he's won at his alma mater, Simeon Career Academy in Chicago. So they're just playing to see who's going to blink first. Curious to see what the Wolverines draw up out of this timeout to try and get a bucket, because again, with Metamora, they only have 5 team fouls. 17 fouls will put Simeon in the line, but with 3.4 left, you have to look for the Redbirds again. If Simeon catches that basketball, especially away from the 3-point arc, for Metamora to maybe run a second or a second and a half off of that clock and foul Simeon.
Those are anxious faces in the Metamora stands. Same on the Simeon side.
Yeah, everybody that has either a red shirt on or a blue shirt on is not sitting down. They're all standing up.
You know, there's a lot of people in all different colors of shirts that are standing up. Well, those folks are pretty relaxed. I don't know how they can be. Cape Space will inbound. It is hop on Rubin on the near side of the floor. And Danny Greaves taking a 30 now that he saw how Robert Smith. You know, I'll go back to that comment from last year. Robert Smith, in that loss in the semifinals, Simeon suffered at the hands of Metamora, said I was outcoached.
Yeah.
But boy, I can see the chessboard in front of me, right? You did this, I do this.
Yeah.
This is outstanding.
But then also, too, Dave, we talked about this Metamora team in the offseason, what they did in the weight room in the offseason, putting the time in there to get stronger, because Danny Greaves said that they just got out-physicaled, out-battled, all of those things in that state championship in 3A last year against Sacred Heart Griffin. So they put the time in the weight room. This is one of those opportunities where they can show off that added strength on this possession, because they are going to need it.
All right, looks like Simeon's coming out in the exact formation they were before.
And no Wesley Rubin on the floor for Simeon. So Wesley Rubin is on the bench for the Wolverines.
Here we go. Griffith. And the foul now with 1.4 seconds left. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but how the fouling situation was played out by Metamora was absolutely flawless.
Using your foul strategically to force Simeon to a tough position. Now for Metamora, you can't foul. And Robert Smith is going to call a timeout.
Well, right before that ball was almost ready to be handed to Space again, Danny Greaves, the entire coaching staff, and I think most of the Metamora bench was waving their arms like no foul. No foul.
And we talked about the coaching chess match between Danny Greaves and Robert Smith. And since Simeon has the basketball on this final possession, possibly of this game, Robert Smith is in check. If they can get this basket to go and win this game, that's going to be checkmate for the Wolverines. So let's see what they draw up.
Well, what are you going to draw up with 1.4 left with inbounding right in front of your own bench?
Again, with the size, with Miles Rubin in this ball game, I look to try and throw it up to him, not too high, because Ethan Kaiser has the athleticism to get up and get any of those basketballs, but you have to give him a chance, especially deep inside the paint. So that positioning, everybody watching this broadcast, see where Miles Rubin places himself within this setup on the sideline out of bounds play for Simeon. 1.4 left, a lot of time to get a couple dribbles off in the shot. Again, Metamora cannot foul.
They're going to have to throw all the way over the top unless Rubin gets a screen, and he does. Out of it. And we're going to overtime. They got the ball in the hands if they wanted to, if they were going to shoot it from deep, Sam Lewis. And Metamora, for the second consecutive year, will play overtime in the state championship ball game in 3A.
It feels like everybody inside of this arena just took a deep breath. Just like, okay, we have extra basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are consuming this broadcast, you are definitely getting a treat between the two best teams in Class 3A. Simeon, Metamora for the crown, and we get extra basketball. How about that?
And I'm going to go back to when Metamora had the lead. They were inbounding in front of their own bench, and the most important turnover of this game. This was late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it happened so quickly, and it's with one of your leaders, and Tyson Swanson. He just fumbled that basketball, and I was getting a second look at it, and it wasn't like, he was fouled on that play, but this is Jalen Griffin keeping those puppies down and getting that floater to go. I mean, how many times have we seen Jalen Griffith just answer when Metamora felt like they were in control of this ball game? We saw him make the transition three to tie the game back up when the Metamora fans were going crazy after Tyson Swanson hit a big three, and then the floater there from Griffith.
Metamora went the final 3 minutes and 10 seconds without scoring. They had the ball twice before turnovers gave it back to the Wolverines. By the way, those turnover numbers, only one turnover today for Simeon, 9 for Metamora.
Wolverines had 11 turnovers yesterday in their semifinal win against St. Ignatius, so doing a phenomenal job of taking care of the basketball.
Kaiser and Miles Rubin. This is how we started this game. We'll start the 4-minute overtime here. Simeon ball.
Again, Dave, another note. Wesley Rubin on the bench for the Simeon Wolverines. He is not starting this overtime period.
Caden Space occupying his spot. Griffith finds Miles Rubin, and he's pushed.
There's that connection between Jalen Griffith and Miles Rubin. We've seen that not only in this game, but if you've been watching the Simeon team throughout the season, they've just had some hidden connection on those ball screens where Griffin would turn the corner and Miles Rubin is diving to the basket, and sometimes the pass is late, but in Griffith's eyes is not late, it's right on time, where Rubin is catching that basketball and finishing right at the rim. Now he gets to the free throw line to try and give his team a 2-point lead.
First Simeon free throw since the second quarter.
Big time from a senior. You hear the blues as a player. I know that a lot of players like to say, no, when I'm at the free throw line, I'll block everything out. Yeah, but you still can hear what's going on. So he hears those blues, and to knock down the first one, which is always tough, is a good job from the senior.
Pure on the second as well. And now it's Metamora chasing the 2 points. Nearly giving it up there. Tyson Swanson with 15 points. Free ball, corner, yeah!
Wow!
How about that from Tyler Mason from the right wing? Mason will give Metamora the lead.
Jalen Griffith lost Tyler Mason. Had a flare screen, and Griffin just jumped over to the midline to try and think that Mason was going back, but he wasn't. He just popped out and turns it over now for Griffith. Second turnover in the game for the Wolverines.
Give credit to Matthew Zobris. He got a hand on the ball initially, caused Griffith to fumble it. And here is Tyler Mason, cold-blooded.
Yeah, that's just a simple flare screen because Griffith turned his head and jumped over to the help line thinking that Mason would just cut to the basket and come back out. No, he fooled Griffin on that play and popped out for three.
Space the steal. Space the drive. Touch left from the block by Swanson. It went off of Space. Metamora ball.
Two phenomenal defensive plays. First, Caden Space shooting the gap. Had a little trouble corralling the ball. Finally got it. But I felt that he took off a little too far away from the rim. And that allowed Tucker to get that block there. Another dribble and power up from Space. I think he has a better chance of making that shot, but salute to Drew Tucker. But that was a great job defensively of blocking that shot and not fouling, and that ball going off of Space for the Redbirds to get possession.
Swanson making his move, elevates and scores! Tyson Swanson, a three-point Metamora lead with 2:20 to play in the first overtime.
Simeon running a set here. Jalen Griffith off the ball, so Space is going to initiate offense here.
He'll take Zobrist all the way there.
He's done that time and time again this season. When Simeon needs a basket late, that's why Caden Space plays in the clutch for Robert Smith. He makes those type of plays.
Huge with 2 minutes to play.
We're going to go right back to the post with Tyson Swanson. He feels he has a mismatch here.
Space is there. Swanson with the left hand. And the foul. 2 free throws coming up for Swanson.
There's that all-season strength that the Redbirds worked on. You see it there. Caden Space essentially putting a hole there with Tyson Swanson, having him on his back. There's not much he can do.
Danny Greaves said, the game you see from Tyson Swanson is a game you'd see on Saturday mornings at the Y.
Got that old soul.
18 points for Swanson and a 2-point lead in overtime.
Very efficient 18 points too as well, Dave. 7 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3.
Big miss there. Simeon down by 2 and Space to bring it up.
Yeah, Wolverines look like they initially looked like it was going to be a box set, but now they're going to have, I think they're a little confused right now on what the set is. The coaching staff trying to get them in their offenses. Griffith comes in to calm things with the basketball.
The screen up top. Rubin rolls to the bottom. Griffith's going to let it go. What a rebound by Tucker. Nobody was getting that ball from Drew Tucker. That's his 8th rebound of the day.
Dangerous time for the Wolverines. Miscommunication there, and there's Mason.
Tyson Mason stretches the lead to 8 with 60 seconds left in OT. Griffith, the floater up, big shot from Jalen Griffith and a timeout.
Man, the level of skill, especially in crucial moments by all of these players. My goodness, this has been a phenomenal 3A state championship. Here's that miscommunication. Usually it's a switch, and Space was switching with Griffith, but the communication was never there. He just anticipated the switch. Great job by Tyler Mason of keeping his dribble and turning the corner. And right back, 5'10" senior point guard. We've seen him multiple times throughout this ball game. When Metamora's made a run and made a big basket, Jalen Griffith has been there to answer, but Simeon still chasing 2 points in this championship.
Metamora 3 for 3 for the field in overtime. Mason with 2 of those. One a huge 3. Another the drive. And if you look at the foul situation, Metamora had 7. Simeon with 6. Simeon is also out of timeouts. Metamora with 4 timeouts remaining. So Simeon cannot stop the clock here in overtime.
I hope that message is being spoken loudly to the players in that huddle for Simeon. You cannot put yourself in a tough position, especially on these baselines and on the sidelines. It essentially serves as a 2nd and 3rd defender, so you got to be careful there because you do not have a timeout to bail yourself out with.
Tucker able to run the baseline after the make by Griffith. That was a near foul there.
Simeon staying man. I want to see if they want to go and try and run and jump. Because again, no shot clock. You're down 2, under 43 seconds left.
Near steal. Tucker maintains possession. Rejected by Rubin. Here come the Wolverines. Looking for the tie. A long one for the lead. Space to the paint with 30 seconds left. Griffith sees the opening. Teardrop. No, it comes out of there. Rubin back to Griffith. 18 for the lead. Rebound Zobrist. Simeon has to foul.
And you cannot ask for a better look on both of those attempts for Simeon. Griffith with the floater, and then off of the offensive rebound from Miles Rubin. The swing over the Caden Space, wide open shot. He just does not make it. But Metamora corralling that rebound and is at the free throw line. Tyler Mason is to try and stretch this lead to 4.
He's an 84% free throw shooter. Danny Greaves says he's been our best player for the entire season. He's at the line looking to stretch a 2-point lead in overtime with 10 seconds left. Nails the first.
That eases the nerves for the Redbirds. Get that first one to go. No timeouts for Simeon.
A 4-point lead. Griffith. They'll pretty much let him go. It will go. And now basically Metamora just has to get the ball in bounds. 4/10 of a second left. We'll shoot free throws at the other end.
Yeah, the Redbirds can feel it. Danny Greaves is telling his players, pushing his hands down like, hey guys, relax. There's still 0.4 left on the clock. He is not yet believing this game is over, which it is not. These players are celebrating. I like this move from Danny Greaves, but going back to the inbounds play for Metamora, they didn't have to pass the ball in because in high school basketball in the state of Illinois, that clock does not stop on a made basket.
Swanson at the line. One more for an insurmountable lead. The ball is inbound and Metamora, your 2023 3A champs. There is no bigger contrast in emotions than you would see in tonight's state championship game.
High-level ball game from Metamora, Simeon. We got an extra 4 minutes because this game went in overtime, but so many spectacular plays on both ends. But when it's all said and done, the Redbirds will be hoisting the 2023 3A Boys State Basketball Championship.
And for Metamora, the players and Danny Greaves, not only was their goal to win the first state basketball championship in school history, their goal was to try to win a championship for Danny Greaves' daughter, Tyson Tuff.
Go through those final big moments in this game. One, the block, the one of many blocks from Miles Rubin to get the Wolverines possession of this basketball. And here's that swing I talked about. First the miss from Griffith. It just rims in and out, and you're going to see the swing. Griffith over the space, wide open shot for a really good shooter, and he does not get that one to go. And at that time, that's when the Redbirds could sense it, because Simeon is forced to foul, and the Metamora faithful knew that state trophy was going back to Metamora.
Tyler Mason scored 7 points in overtime, perfect from the field, perfect from the line, and he's with Casey Standehart. Make that Tyson Swanson with Casey.
Tyson, congratulations, an overtime win. How did you know you were in your groove offensively, and when did you know?
I don't know. I mean, I hit a couple early, and I just was feeling it. I don't know. Big games, I always think I shoot the best in games like this, so I don't know. I think that's it.
Your team played tough defense against another tough Simeon team. What did it take to get the win?
I mean, they're an unbelievable team. I mean, we had to try to handle with their size. I mean, I don't know. We just had to have a lot of grit and just, I don't know, be tough.
You go out in your last year, you're a senior as state champions. How do you put this moment into words?
I can't even put it in words. I mean, we came up like just a game short last year, losing a double overtime game, and then come back this year, go overtime, and win it this year. It's amazing.
Congratulations. Go enjoy this one. Thank you so much. We'll bring in Coach Greaves now. Coach, Congratulations, an OT
very much.
victory. You weren't worried about this one at all. You said we're confident, we're drilled down. Were you worried at all about overtime?
I was more than worried. You know, my hat's off to them. They got a tremendous program, great team, and Coach Smith does a fantastic job. Hi, Nikki. But I'll tell you what, don't ever count our kids out. You know, we kind of joked before the game. We were down 8 both times in the semis and came back and won. We were up 8 the last time we were in the state championship game. So when we got down 10, I told them, hey, we got them right where we want them, folks.
Right where you want them, and you guys are right where you want to be right now, state champions. As a father, you just said hi to Nikki. As a coach, how do you put this day into words, and what emotions come up for you?
Well, it's pretty cool. You know, growing up as a little kid in Peoria, Illinois, you dreamed about this day. And so as it comes to pass and you're here, there's never a better feeling.
Well, go enjoy this feeling. Congratulations, Coach. Dave, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, KC. As these teams being mobbed by photographers. I don't think I've ever seen this many photographers on the floor. Well, let's present some awards here. Let's go to our public address announcer, Tim Sinclair.
Catch up, go put some cheese on it, get out and get your bread up. They always leave when you fall, but you run together. Weight of the world on my shoulders, I kept my head up. Now baby, stand up, cause girl, you want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, direct your attention to the court for the presentation of the first and second place team and individual awards for the 2023 Class 3A Boys Basketball State Final Tournament. Presenting awards tonight will be members of the IHSA Board of Directors, President Katie Hassan of Rock Ridge, Secretary Amy McMahon of Petersburg Porta, Karen Calloway of Chicago Kenwood, Ron Lear of Plainfield North, Katie Cazalet of Dunlap, Mike Castleman of Olympia, Todd Rogers of Carterville, Dwayne Bates of Glenbard East, Tom Shergan of Chicago de La Salle, and Dr. Scott Adrian of Dunlap. Now the awards for your second place finishers in Class 3A, the Chicago Simeon Wolverines. The Director of CPS Sports Administration, David Rosengard. Principal, Dr. Trista Harper. Athletic Director, Kendall Moore. Athletic Director, Kevin Gordon. Head Coach, Robert Smith. Assistant, Corey Bradford. Assistant, Maurice Brown. Assistant, Timothy Flowers. Assistant, Jelani Neely. Assistant, Joshua Davis. And Assistant, Maurice Brown. Number 2, Jalen Griffith. Number 3, Michael Ratliff. Number 4, Rashad McKinney. Number 5, Lorenzo Shields. Number 10, Wesley Rubin. Number 11, Sam Lewis. Number 12, Jayshawn Liggett. Number 13, Marlo Lee. Number 15, Antoine Schaff. Number 23, Caden Space. Number 24, Miles Rubin. Number 30, Steve Turner. Number 35, Sincere Johnson. and manager Paris Brandy. One more time for your second place finishers in Class 3A, the Simeon Wolverines. Now for your Class 3A champions, the Metamora Redbirds. Superintendent Sean O'Loughlin. Principal Charles Zimmerman. Athletic Director Jared Hart. Trainer Paige Frenette. Head coach Danny Greaves. Assistant Justin Dem. Assistant Mike Brockhouse. Assistant Jordan Dem. Assistant Patrick Vaughn. And Assistant Jake Springer. Number 1, Avery Grevner. Number 4, Ashton Greaves. Number 5, Matthew Zobrist. Number 10, Tyler Mason. Number 11, Caden Hartnett. Number 12, Kendrick Shaffrin. Number 14, Luke Hopp. Number 34, Nick Walker. Number 20, Jack Hessing. Number 21, Ethan Kaiser. Number 22, Tyson Swanson. Number 23, Devin Dunn. Number 24, Drew Tucker. Number 30, Briar Cremines. Number 32, Sam Bagol. And manager Nick Sprout. One more time for your Class 3A champions, the Metamora Redbirds. Would the coaches and captains for the Simeon Wolverines please come forward to accept your second place trophy. Now, would the coaches and captains for the Metamora Redbirds come forward to accept your championship trophy for Class 3A.
Congratulations to the 3A champions, Metamora. What a ball game here today. And you look back 1 year ago, pretty much that same group of players came up short in double overtime in heartbreaking fashion. They trailed by 10 in this game. They come back and win in overtime. An outstanding performance by Metamora.
They stayed the course the entire game, and also the extra 4 minutes in overtime. Even when they were down by 10 points, it was 21-11 Simeon in that second quarter. But I made the point that even though Simeon was up double digits, they have been susceptible of giving up those double-digit leads throughout the course of this season. Metamora understood who they are. They stayed within their offensive system and also defensively of trying to limit what the greatness of Simeon was on their end with their dynamic players. And when the time was right, they struck perfectly and made some big plays to take control of this ball game and eventually get this state championship.
So this game closed out the Class 3A season in Illinois, and it also closes out not just a season, but a career, a legacy in Illinois high school basketball history.
Well, I've said this the number of times that I've done these IHSA state championship broadcasts with you, Dave, that Robert Smith is the greatest coach, in my opinion, in the state of Illinois high school boys basketball. You are looking at someone that took over and really continued the legacy of the Simeon way from his coaching mentor, the late, great Bob Hamrick, who started the great tradition of Simeon of winning state championships right here in this very building in 1984. Smith is a Simeon Wolverine alumnus, and when he took over the head coaching position, he really wanted to continue the lessons and the teachings of Bob Hamrick and made it his own way. And you saw the success on the court, but he's had even more success off the court with the players that he's allowed to get college scholarships for and really put them in position to better their lives and their families. And that's the one thing that I want people to remember about Robert Smith, of what he achieved as a high school basketball coach in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, is that he really maximized the great talent of his players and allowed them to really have a phenomenal life in college and also when they became adults. So you see so many players like Jabari Parker inside of this arena to really pay homage to Robert Smith, and we're doing this on this broadcast now because what he achieved as a coach on this level will not really be attained in my eyes in a while, because what he was able to do is phenomenal. Sending guys to college, to the NBA ranks, and to play professional basketball. Robert Smith, job well done, sir. The city of Chicago and the state of Illinois appreciate you for everything that you've given to us in the game of basketball.
Robert Smith hung around to make sure Danny Greaves was done with his photos. So could he have a conversation with the man that he admires? Well, it's funny how adrenaline works, because we're up and now we're taking a deep breath. But we have 4A basketball coming. We have number 1 Bennett, number 2 Moline, your 4A championship coming up. But before that, we'll go to the studios. Darius Joshua, Mark Lindo. Oh, fellas, we had a beauty here in this one.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that one, Dave. Metamora certainly knows how to play some exciting matchups. Right? Yeah, exactly.
I didn't coach, I didn't play, but I'm pretty juiced. I'm pretty pumped up after that one. That was exciting.
Metamora brings home the 3A championship for the first time in their school's history. What a contest that was. We will be breaking down the highlights from this one. It'll be a very exciting contest for both of these sides, certainly for what they were able to accomplish there on the court. So we will be right back with the highlights from this very exciting contest.
The IHSA Basketball State Finals are brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by ISU. Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
There are more than 20,000 ways to